Feeling powerless over food? It's time to get free. Welcome to the WildFit information session. My name is David Thibault. I'll be your host through this masterclass. I am a certified WildFit coach. My business is called Empowerment Strategies. My goal is to guide people to a happy and healthy life. In addition to supporting the WildFit program and helping people get healthy and get their health back, I help them with their visions and goals, values and beliefs, self-esteem and confidence. Essentially, I believe in you until you do. I really believe that people deserve to live a happy and healthy life, the one that they want. And so I empower you to move the mountain that's in your way so you can get there. What you'll learn in this masterclass? Well, I'll give you a bit about me. The idea around the WildFit program, why most diets don't work, how the food industry doesn't really care about your health, how this program changes your relationship with food. We'll go through the 6 human hungers, the need for seasons in your diet, and we'll show you some success stories towards the end. You're in the right place. If you've struggled with your weight and you tried diets in the past, and sure, you've had some success early on, but they just don't, there's no sustainability there. You just fall off the wagon and you start this yo-yo on a diet, off a diet. What's the fad today? What's off the fad, right? And you're tired of you're just so tired all the time, lacking energy. You wake up tired. You have trouble sleeping. You have to deal with brain fog, and your focus is just, it's hard to maintain. You got sugar cravings, skin issues. You'd love to increase and improve your libido and your fertility. It's time to make your health a priority in your life, isn't it? How I got involved in WildFit. This is me with Eric Edmeades. He is the founder of WildFit. And I saw Eric speak a few years back now at a multi-speaker event. And Eric was telling stories about different species, diets, and really kind of going through some beliefs that he had about the human diet and about the way we should eat. And you know what? It just made so much sense to me. This guy was finally, somebody was speaking my language. It was so comforting. I thought, you know what? I have to try this. I have to try his program. I have to see what it's all about. And so I did. This was late May. And I started, it was June 1st, the program started. The program runs on a 90-day challenge. And I started it off. And after the first 90 days, I had released 35 pounds. I was feeling great. And so I just kept going. And I was sleeping better, and my energy level had increased so much so that I had coworkers telling me that, you know what, I think maybe I'll take a break. I really can't keep up to you. And you know what? I thought, yes, I got it back. This is the energy level I used to have when I was a kid playing hockey. This is what it was like, right? I had released after 2 months after the challenge was over, I had added another 40 pounds to my total, which added up to 75 pounds. I mean, you think my life was a little different? Oh my goodness. I mean, I was heavy set most of my life, even as a child. I was picked to play hockey because of my size, not because of my skill set. You know, later on, I was living the salesman lifestyle, right? I mean, the coffee and the donuts or the muffin or the fast foods, because it was quick, it was simple, and guess what? I was able to do it on the run, and I thought I was achieving more. I thought I was actually doing more because I had never stopped to eat. And then I realized, oh my God, I actually ballooned out to 285 pounds. Folks, I used to get dizzy putting my socks on in the morning or tying my shoes. You know what it's like? You tie your shoes and you got to sit down because you're a little lightheaded. And then I got scared one day. I got really, really scared. And I was driving down the highway and the lines started doubling. I started getting dizzy. I had this queasy feeling in my stomach, and I pulled over and I started sweating. And I thought, oh, wow, what's going on? This is kind of scary. Am I having some kind of attack or something like that? I don't have any pains that way, but oh my goodness. And I sat there for 5 or 10 minutes. It felt like about an hour. I regained myself, regained my composure, and I drove home and I went to bed. And I thought, I need to rest. My body's giving me a signal here. And that's when my search really began. Really started looking at, where am I going to go with this? I mean, look how big I am, right? And I was scared. And the diet, the process of going through the diets began. Try this one, have a bit of success. Oh, fall off the wagon, and it all comes back. And I tried self-study. Oh, I'm going to, this is what I should be eating. And then they treat myself. And guess what? I'm not taking the weight off, right? Not till I found this program. As of this recording, I've been living this program now quite easily and happily, I will say, for just a little under 3 years, effortlessly, and I've not gained the weight back. This works. This really works. So we believe in WildFit that every species has a diet. I mean, we talk about an elephant. If we say an elephant, what's an elephant's diet? I'm sure we all have a good idea. We may not know the super specifics of it, but I bet you can ask anybody. They say, well, yeah, I've seen them. They eat grasses and pull barks off trees, and they drink a lot of water. Well, you know what? Guess what? We're right. What about a lion or tiger? Well, guess what? Yeah, although they eat some grasses and they drink water. Yeah, I guess all animals drink water because they're all made of water. So, but you know what? They're chasing antelopes or chasing another meat source because that's their diet. And we know that, right? Well, what about the human diet? The human species also has a diet. Now, it's evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, and it's really based on the hunter-gatherer theory that, you know what, we come from where we originally come from 200,000 plus years ago when we were in Africa. That's where we come from. So what did they eat? I mean, you didn't see an overweight human at that point because they hadn't been introduced to North American foods. Every living thing has a diet. And the degree to which a species can stay on its diet is a measure of its health and longevity. It's one of the key WildFit principles. So our history as hunter-gatherers, like I was saying, is very much that. 200,000 years ago, we would go out and we would be eating all kinds of leafy leafy plants, and we dig for tubers. And I had, just so you know, that's Eric in Africa visiting the Hadza Bushmen. And just this year, I had the privilege of going and seeing this for myself. And I watched how they live. This is one of the last hunter-gatherers on Earth. And I watched how they live. And it's exactly what we think. Their diet hasn't changed over all these years. Sure, they've learned to have better tools with their bows and their knives, but you know what? Essentially, they get up every day and they realize, okay, what am I going to do for food today? And they start nibbling at this tree and that grass, and yes, we have to go for a hunt, and oh, there's fruit on that tree. Let's get the fruit off the tree. That's where we come from. That's the basis of this whole diet, this whole program. It's how we should be eating. So why should you bother? Really? Why should you? Well, many of today's diseases and illnesses are preventable. They are preventable. So much of them are based on our diet and what we're putting into our bodies. And our body's kind of going, yeah, I don't know how to deal with this. Oh, I have to store this fat. Or, geez, I can't process this properly. That's where it comes from. You know what? You may want to protect your last 10 or 20 years of your life. I've already told my kids, get used to it. Dad's going to be around till he's 120 plus. And you know what? I want to live a happy, fulfilled life, not one where I'm in a hospital bed for the last 10 years of my life and unable to function, right? I want to be healthy and strong, right? I want to be a role model for my children and my family and my friends, because I want them to come with me. Absolutely. We want to have a great life and as much of it as I possibly can get in. I want to look good. When you want to look good, feel good, have more energy, boost your self-esteem and self-confidence. Be happier in your life. That's why I think you should bother. It's funny, every time a diet comes up, you know, a lot of people come around with the, well, you know what, it's okay to eat whatever you want. Really, you know, you eat okay most of the time, but it's okay. Everything in moderation is okay. Well, really? Because everything in moderation also means your health in moderation. Is that really what you want? Your health, moderate health? You know, it's impossible to lose weight when you're hungry. And if you've tried diets and failed, it's not your fault. Most diets are starving you. They say, don't eat this, don't eat that, stay away from this, stay away from that, count this, count that. Now, many of the things they're telling you to stay away from, you shouldn't have anyway, but I think you know that. I think you already know that. What they fail to do is make sure that you get in what your body really needs, what your body's looking for, the proper nutrients to satisfy that hunger, right? We are a society today that's overfed and undernourished. And the food industry does not care about you. They're focusing on profits. I mean, why else would 60 to 70% of the food that is in our grocery stores today have sugar in it? Why? I mean, think about it. Sugar is an addictive substance. If you put it in food, you want to eat more food. That sounds interesting. Think about it this way as well. If you were to make a spaghetti sauce at home, fresh, made from scratch, you're going to get the best ingredients, the best tomatoes, the best seasonings, the freshest basil and oregano, and you know, you're just going to get the best of the best. And just as you're simmering all day long and you're really thickening it up and it's just smelling so so fantastic, you think, okay, you know what's missing? 2 or 3 spoonfuls of sugar. Really? I don't think so. Now it's getting better lately, but go check out the cans of spaghetti sauce in the supermarket, on the supermarket shelf. Why is there sugar? There's no need for sugar in there. There is sugar. These people have spent these businesses. The people are fine. It's the businesses. The system has spent millions of dollars lobbying the politicians to get their way. And they work aggressively to discredit their critics. And so you hear one time you hear sugar's bad, and then the sugar industry produces some kind of data to say no, it's fat that's bad. Oh, and the other one says no, it's this that's bad. It's that's bad. Really, the food industry does not care about you, your health. They care about profits and the bottom line. That's really what they care about. And that brings me back to that statement again. We are overfed and undernourished, meaning that we keep eating what they're putting in front of us, but we're not getting the nourishment we need. Our body is always hungry. There is so much sugar out there. We've identified 65 names of sugar, from sucroses to you name them. We got them all. But look what it causes. It's linked to heart disease and diabetes and your moods and skin problems and cancers and bad teeth and kidneys, and it is so addictive. This stuff should be banned from the world. Here's some examples. Look at ketchup. I mean, there's a bottle of ketchup. It's almost half sugar. Really. That makes sense. And here's another example. There's the amount of sugar in each drink, if it was granulated underneath, the weight of sugar. I bet you if you tried to put that amount of sugar, granulated sugar, in that can of Coke, it wouldn't fit in the granulated form. It doesn't look like it fits. Are you kidding me? Why does it need that much sugar? Look at it. All of it, fruit juices. Why do they need sugar? Really, fruit isn't sweet enough? Kind of makes you wonder, kind of makes you think. Here's a story about my friend Andrea. She was living her life and, just doing things that a normal young woman would do. And, she would be eating as she would, like we all do today. And she would be steadily gaining, 5 to 7 pounds year after year. Not super noticeable right away, but at the end of the year, you kind of go, geez, you know what? My jeans are a little tight. My shirt is not quite fitting the way it used to, right? But she discovered something. She was addicted to sugar. Her thing was cupcakes. And so she would have cupcakes in the morning for breakfast, cupcakes for break, cupcakes for after lunch, and for, she had so much sugar in her body that, her adrenals were burnt out and she was tired all the time. And then she did the program and she released 15 pounds. She's well beyond that now because she's been living it for about 2 years after. But she no longer craves sugar. She easily just walks right by cupcakes, doesn't even mean a thing to her. And she's got energy to run 4 companies. I watch this woman go and it's awesome. It's unbelievable to watch. So one of the things we teach in the WildFit program is the reason why we eat. And why we eat is related to the 6 human hungers. So the first hunger that we go through is called thirst. Yeah, I know you're kind of wondering, really, thirst is a hunger? Well, think about it. Our ancestors from 200,000 years ago didn't carry water bottles or had, pottery of any kind to bring water with them. So sure, when they went by the stream or something, they would drink their fill. But throughout the day, when they're in the bush or they're on the plains, they would get their water from the plants they'd eat, because they were grazers, and they ate constantly because they didn't know when their next meal was going to be. So they kept a certain level of graze going on. That's a good word. Graze going on. And so they would get a lot of their water that way. So our bodies were conditioned to think, okay, the signal goes out, hey, I'm thirsty, and it goes out as I'm hungry, because there isn't a direct signal, let's say, to identify specific types of hungers that your brain can identify from your stomach brain. And so it says it's hungry. And so today, what do we think? Okay, I'm hungry, so I'm going to reach for the first thing that I can come across. That's going to be that cupcake, that cookie, that chocolate bar, that bag of chips, which probably has negative water content, right? So we're really not satisfying that hunger. We have the other hunger that comes around is called variety. And variety comes from the fact that our hunter-gatherer ancestors never had a daily allowance of vitamins. And so their body would tell them they're hungry, and they would go out and eat different foods to satisfy those hungers. I mean, why would, after having their fill of their plants that they were eating, would they get up and kind of go, I have to go hunt that mammoth? I mean, that was dangerous. I mean, how bad a hunger does it have to be? You must need something pretty bad to that meat was offering your body to make you feel better, to make you feel stronger, to go and risk your life. I mean, do you think that mammoth was going to defend itself? I mean, that was life or death for these guys. But that's ingrained in us. That's absolutely ingrained in us, the need for variety. Today, we don't get that. Low blood sugar. Low blood sugar, I think we all know and get. We are eating sugars all the time. And so our body essentially has two fuel sources. One is sugar, one is fats. And unfortunately, the diets that we're eating, most of us are running on the sugars. And so sugar is a quick burn, but a short burn. And so you spike, and then you kind of lose momentum, and then you fill up again and spike again, and this yo-yo effect, this up and down effect, happens all the time. Many of us will know it as kind of hitting the wall, or the afternoon energy loss after about 2:30, 3 o'clock after lunch there, when you just run out of energy. Emotional hunger is probably one of the biggest things that we have to deal with, especially in this program. And it's the reason why we make a lot of the choices we make with our choices here. And so here's an example. And so when I was a kid, I had this thing for Oreo cookies, because my dad and I, after dinner, we'd always have our Oreo cookies. He would have his in his tea, and I would dunk mine in my milk. And, we'd talk back and forth about who had the best tasting Oreo cookie. But you know what? I was bonding with my dad. I was feeling a connection with him, the love, and I was significant right there. I was important in that conversation with my dad. I carried that through my whole life. And not knowing that, I mean, I would always feel a comfort and feel at ease when I had Oreos. It's not until this program that I kind of realized, oh, okay, that's what I was trying to fill. It's a void I'm trying to fill. People eat their emotions. And so emotional hunger is a big deal to work through. It's one of the strongest hungers that we have to work through. Empty stomach hunger. Well, I mean, empty stomach hunger is something we're really not used to or aware of in the 21st century because food is available all the time. I mean, our stomachs are essentially the size of our fist. That's the real size of our stomachs. But because we eat so much all the time, um, it's closer to the size of a football or more. And because it's actually designed for that. So it's designed to stretch for those times when, we made that kill and we ate till we were full, or we ran across that fruit tree and we ate everything, because guess what? Food was scarce. We didn't know if there was going to be anything tomorrow. And so we ate as much as we could at that time. But since it was scarce, that didn't happen every day. Today, unfortunately, food is available all the time. So guess what? We're filling that big hole all the time. And so it stays big. Empty stomach hunger is that feeling, that light feeling. Sometimes you feel it in the morning. If you've had your last meal by 6 o'clock or so the night before, and your body's gone through the digestion before you go to bed, and it's actually rested throughout the night when you slept, that feeling, that light feeling in the morning, that's empty stomach. That's actually a very nice feeling if you let it happen. The only real hunger, the true, honest, real hunger that we have to deal with is nutritional hunger. This is the only genuine form of hunger. It's the one where our body says, hey, I need these nutrients to be able to work properly, and I need that vitamin this, or that mineral that, and that's the only one that really is the actual hunger that we have to work through, that'll keep us satiated, that'll keep us happy. And so in WildFit, we also believe that there is a need for seasons in our diet. What does that mean? Well, it means we have a rotating style diet. It's not something that we eat the same thing all the time. It's more about availability. And so back a few 100,000 years ago, it would be springtime and the plants would start to shoot up. And so there was just some leafy greens available, and that's what you'd eat, because you just come off of a winter season where there was not much to eat, if anything. And so you'd feast off of that stuff, and you'd hunt. That's what you would eat. And then the summertime would hit, and some of the smaller berries would come out, and some of the smaller fruit. And as they became available, that's when you started eating some of those, and the leaves on the trees were bigger, and the bushes were thicker, and so you had a lot more greens to eat. Now that some of the fruit was coming through. And then in the fall, well, the fall is we all know the fall. It's harvest season. And so as all the fruits are available, and all the tubers and all the vegetables, and we just ate to our fill. And guess what? A lot of times, like a bear, we actually start packing on the weight, which is very normal, because guess what? Winter's coming. And so through the winter, we know that things are very scarce. And so we believe that your body should also have a time of rest. And so that's a quick version of the seasons. And we find that bodies are a lot healthier, and they start getting in this rotation, this cycle, and they function so much better. So why this program works? Well, throughout the program, we deal with a lot of food psychology. We talked about emotional hunger. We talk a lot about that, and making you aware of why you're making the choices you're making, and where they come from. And so you can kind of work through them, make you aware of that type of thing, right? We don't rely on potions, powders, prepared food, none of that stuff, right? We don't even weigh it. We don't count calories. We don't do any of that stuff. We only eat real food the way we're meant to eat, right? There is support all the way through this journey, right? Whether you're one-on-one with your private coach, or you're part of a group where you have weekly coaching calls and support in a private Facebook group. The process really inspires you to bring focus to other aspects of your life too, like your self-awareness, like your confidence, like what about your sleep patterns? What about all that stuff? It's so much more than just a weight issue. It's really not. So there's ongoing support available if you need it after the program. The program works on a 90-day, through a 90-day program. The very last week, we actually teach you, put it all together after spending all this time teaching you and showing you the program and taking it step by step in a stage process. We work through to make sure that you understand how to live WildFit, so you never, ever go back to your old ways. And the benefits, like I was saying, go well beyond a healthy diet. It's things like a sense of accomplishment, right? Your mind is clearer, so it's you feel more active, and there's a renewed sense of setting goals and wanting to do different things in your life, and your better sleep patterns, and your routines and your habits change a little bit, because guess what? You're feeling so much better, and so the benefits go beyond just weight loss. Creating lasting results without willpower. That's what we like to do, because we help you to understand where those cravings are coming from, why you're making those choices. Here's some personal transformation examples. Valerie, who lives in France, released 20 pounds. She was going to get surgery, and she backed away. All she did was started doing the WildFit diet, and she released 20 pounds and looks absolutely fabulous. Laura released 50 pounds in 6 months. I mean, she looks fabulous. I met Laura about 1.5 years ago now, and this woman has a lot of energy, and she looks absolutely amazing. Francine is an interesting lady. She was quite heavy and really not happy. And throughout the program, she released 39 pounds, and kept going over the next 6 months. Through, I guess, as of last March, had released 87 pounds. So she just kept going, and she looks fabulous. She's so much happier. And today, last I heard, I think she made it over 100. Just because she just felt that she needed it, and she just keeps going, and her body's actually going back to the way it should be. JB released 16 pounds, and you could see her body's just a different shape altogether. And she's full of spunk and just, sleeps like a baby now, and just her whole life is just so much happier. So just to go over things again, some of the benefits: we release weight without hunger. You're never hungry on this program, and never exercise. That's right. So I released 75 pounds in less than 6 months with no exercise, just concentrating on the food that I put into my body, to my mouth. That's it. My energy level through the roof. Brain fog gone. I could think clearer. I could focus a lot better. Your energy level's up because you're sleeping much better. Absolutely. Your cravings are gone because you know how to handle them and where they come from. There's improvement in skin, hair, and nails. We can't promise this stuff across the board. Obviously, that's, it's not a promise. It's just a result. All it is an expression of some of the, what people have been telling us, some of the results that they've had. Boost in libido, big deal. And just an overall sense of vitality and well-being. That's the biggest one there is well-being. We ran a survey through all the people who've kind of went through WildFit, and the thing that came back the strongest, the most, was this overall sense of well-being. And so huge benefit of the WildFit program. So it's time, isn't it? Take control of your relationship with food. 90 days. It's not a long time. It's 3 months. Give me 90 days and I'll help you. I will walk you through it and we'll get there together. Whatever your goals are, we'll get you on the right path. If you would like some more information, please feel free to contact me at david@empowermentstrategies.com. Call me directly or visit my website. Learn a bit more about me and reach out. It's time. It's your time, isn't it? I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much and have a fantastic day.